Thank you everyone for taking the time today to join our webinar on the accelerator for Sage CRM. We're going to focus on the Outlook integration and its deep integration within Microsoft Outlook, and it really brings CRM to the front, the same as Outlook is really, because it becomes almost like a part of Microsoft Outlook. So we typically are targeting, where you may be struggling to get adoption of Sage CRM. People are not updating details. They're kind of questioning maybe what CRM is about. And with Accelerator, what it does is it really makes CRM just a seamless process. So we focus very much on the usability of the product, and really, as I mentioned earlier, Sage CRM feels like an extension of Microsoft Outlook. We allow you to process those emails quickly into Sage CRM, and we try and make it again easy for users to do this. And by having this data in CRM, the business owns the relationship. It's not just sitting in someone's inbox in their head. The data gets into CRM and it delivers. CRM then delivers on this 360 view that it's always promised. And we also provide integration with the Sage CRM email templates. And what this allows you to do is give the company a voice, allow the company to actually structure how a relationship starts, so it's consistent and you have a consistent onboarding process, for example, and that the correct documents are always sent to the customers. And this breeds confidence by the people who are doing sales or leads or dealing with account management, in that they know what they're sending is correct and up to date. So some of the features that we're going to show you, we'll try and show you as much as we can today, is how you can create a company person records from your emails. You can create things like opportunities and cases, and even implement custom entities within Outlook. So within Outlook, you look at an email and you can straight away create a opportunity based on that email. You can save the emails against any given context, and you can actually even tag the emails. And by tagging the emails, we give the emails a context. And I'll explain that in more detail in the demo. We also provide an address book that you can use to access your CRM email addresses, so they're always available there. As I mentioned, also we have the email templates that allows you to standardize your company language. We make it easy to log phone conversations as well. It's probably something that people just don't do, but we make it easy to get that data into CRM. And you can, of course, attach documents directly from your email that are in CRM. So again, if you're not going to use email templates, but you may want to standardize certain documents, you can actually just have them they're in CRM and then they're exposed via Outlook. So we'll jump right in and give you a demo of the product. Okay, so I'm just going to switch over to our demo system. I'll just make sure I've got my GoToMeeting on top. Okay. I'm just going to open my drawing tool if people don't mind. So this is a Sage CRM system, as you can see here. Once the product is installed on the Outlook client, what you'll see straight away is this area up here is actually showing. And this area then, you can see it has our name, CRM Together, like the accelerator. And you've got two big buttons, one to save the email, and it'll just try and save the email based on a match on the email address. So emails are really key to driving getting the data into CRM itself. And of course, if I do the big, the big button, what it does is it prompts me to actually put in, it'll show me who it's matched against for a start, as you can see here. And it puts in the email here at this point. And of course, what I can also do is I can actually attach the email as a file if I want to have it as an MSG file, and that will even upload the document, the email as an actual MSG document as well. And any documents will also be attached into the system. So that's the kind of standard thing. If I just click file, that file's the email. Nothing majorly special about that. Where Accelerator really comes into itself is when we open the Accelerator tab. And when we open the tab, you can see over here on the right hand side that we're actually showing the CRM data. So we call this a task pane. And you can see then in here that this is matched on the actual person's email to this particular email address. And it straight away brought us up this information here. If I change an email, let's get rid of the drawings. If I change an email, the system will trigger a change event, and it'll then try and match based on the actual email address itself. And what I might want to do at this point is I might want to actually create an opportunity against this record. So I can just click on new. I get all my options here, as you can see, including some custom entities. I can click on new opportunity. And because I did it from this particular context, it's now taking in this information. So effectively what it's done is it's showing the company, the person, which was the context that we came from. And it's also taken the actual content of the email and put it in here. Again, as you can see here. At this point then, of course, I may just click save. That saves the opportunity, and straight away we've converted this email into an opportunity. So you can see straight away, very quickly, I can take what is, it may be a tentative order, it may be a real order, it may be a lead, but I could straight away create an opportunity, and I'm building my pipeline. And this visibility then is available to everyone within the organization. If I want at this point, I can actually click on the link here. If I click on the text link, it'll actually bring me into the actual record in CRM. And as you can see, it's put it into the correct workflow, and I can start working through this workflow, for example, if I wish. So this is one of the real key things, is that CRM just feels like an extension of Microsoft Outlook. So by clicking on any text link, it'll bring me into that actual record itself. So it's an easy way to get from your Outlook into CRM. And again, this is really powerful in terms of improving user adoption and user participation with CRM, rather than kind of doing it because, oh, well, they have to. You know, we make it easy to get that information in, and they'll start to see the benefits. Okay, so at this point then, what I might want to do is I might want to actually save the email. So I can just click save the email. And at this point, you'll see then what it's displaying here is the actual opportunity, and it's saying it's component order that we've just created. And I just click file, and that's it, filed. And you can see then it marks it as being filed into the system. Now, of course, one of the things that you may have occurred to you, if I click on the email, it's going to try and match again. If I click on this back, it's going to try and match again, but it's not. What happened to our opportunity? Well, really, we should have tagged, at that point, we should have tagged the actual email itself to link it to that opportunity. But we can still do this now, even though we've already created it. And so we can do this by clicking on this icon here. You can see I'm hovering over the icon here. It says opportunities. So any of the button links open within that task pane itself. If I click on this, it gives me a list of the opportunities. You can see then my list. And again, if I click on the icon, it brings me into the detail of this. So I'm back into this opportunity. And then I can click options, and I can click tag email. And what this tag email does is it inserts this particular item here. So if you can see, my image has got in the way here. Hang on. So you can see then it's put in this particular tag. And what happens now is that when I change emails, it's going to trigger a change. It's going to bring up the person record. But now I click on this, it's going to detect that there's a tag in the system. It's going to bring up this opportunity. And with this yellow line here, I can see then that this is actually a tagged record. And so this now makes it easy to actually file emails as you send them, as they come back in. As long as this tag is maintained, you don't have to go in and search to see, well, is there an opportunity? Which opportunity does this relate to? Maybe we have several. You know, you can actually link the actual email to an opportunity. So you give it a context. It knows, CRM knows exactly what this is on about. It knows that this particular email is related to that. And of course, what I might want to do here then as well is I might want to actually log a phone call, because, you know, it's an order. So call out, you know, and I can just write a note then. So I might say, you know, call them about credits and maybe, you know, discuss credit terms. And you can type in your notes here, and that then is logged in CRM. And so of course, let's go in and have a look at this in CRM. You can go in and look at the opportunity, go into communications, and you can see then called about credit. There's our subject, phone out, email in. So you can see then the communications are being logged in here now straight away. And this really gives powerful visibility in terms of what's going on in the organization without having to go and ask for the information. It's there in CRM. And you can see people's pipeline and their activity on that. There are some other options as well that you can actually focus on an item. So if you want to focus on this particular record, you can click focus. And if you change the email, then the triggering does not happen at this point. And I might just want to save that email against it, and I might want to tag it, you know, so I can actually focus on that record within CRM, within Outlook and CRM, I suppose. I can, of course, search for an entity. So if for some reason I decide that, well, this is relating to something completely different, maybe a colleague sent me something relating to an opportunity, what I can actually do, I've clicked on this now, what I can actually then decide to do is go in and actually say I want to search on something else. So I might search on a different company, gives me a list. I just double click on that, brings me into that record, and I can actually then save this email against that particular record as well. So you can see then I can say, so I can save it anywhere, and we just try and make it easy to actually get that information into CRM itself. I might just point out while I'm here then within the actual company itself, then you can actually click on these items to list things like opportunities. In fact, let's go to one that we know has one. So if we view the actual company summary here, for example, and we click on the case list, you'll see then there's a list of cases, there's a list of open opportunities, here's a list of people, and of course I can decide then I want to click on this link and view that particular person's record as well. Okay, so if I jump onto this particular email here, I'm going to show you what happens when I'm going to really simulate what happens when an email comes in that the system does not recognize. So at this point, what I do is I want to click on the search option. I'm going to parse search, and what the parse search does it takes the email and it reads through and tries to find any email addresses within it, and then it'll try, if there's more than one, it'll prompt you to select one of those email addresses. If there's just one, which is there is in this example, it will in fact try and just do a search. So I click parse search. It didn't find this email, so it took up this Kira Bant, and it couldn't find her in the system. So it's prompting me now to create a new company, as you can see here. So I've got Kira's details there. I can fill in any details here if I wish into the system. I can click save, and they've created a company and a person. So it's that easy to get company and a person into CRM. You're not relying on end users going, well, should I put this in? Is it worth putting in? You know. So we just try and make it easy to convert those emails into real CRM data. You know, so all the time your users are building future value into your business by creating these records in CRM. Maybe it's a lead, maybe you want them logged as leads, you can log them as leads as well. That's not a problem. But you want to get that information, make it easy for them to get that information into CRM, because you're building all the time future value into the system. Okay. There are some other options in terms of Accelerator. It does record your history, so it's a bit like your recent list, but it doesn't go away, and you can go back on different days and look at what you looked at on a given day. And again, just select that and it brings you straight into that particular item. There is I'm trying to remember which record it is now. There is a possibility to get some Sage 300 integration. We have a Sage 300 example integration that we ship with the product. And and I seem to have broken CRM. All right, never mind that. Okay, so I'll come back to this. I think I looked at a bogey record. Okay, so then with new emails, whoops, sorry. So sorry about that. Yeah, so we have a, you can display 300 data, for example. So we have an example of a tab. This is shipped as an example with the product, where you can, in fact, show Sage 300 data again within this. And we also have like things like locations, and yeah, you can do other things that I haven't got set up, like graphs and all. But you can basically the system can be extended to show extra information from within Sage CRM. So you're not limited. It can, the same way that Sage CRM can grow and thrive, you can actually do this with Accelerator. So it's very much built on the same ideas, the same principles of Sage CRM being able to grow with your business. Now, if I go to a new email, just to show you some of the tools that are available here, you'll see then this area up here. And you can see that this is it within a new message window itself. And what you can do then is, I'll cover the first two later. You've got the address book, so you can search. So I can search for the Kira that we just created, and you can see there she is there. And I can say, well, I want to send her an email. You can add shared documents, so you can of course select the documents and download. That'll download the document, and that document is actually within Sage CRM itself. So within Sage CRM itself, you're centralizing where people get access to your documents, and it's in the shared documents folder. And you can see then here, for example, we have some documents, and this is really powerful in terms of your end users having the confidence where to find particular records, because they're in Outlook, they're part of Outlook. We can, of course, also have it that the system can actually open up the window here and tag the emails, but we can also use email templates. And what I'll do is I'll get a template and merge here. I've got a HR company welcome. So imagine onboarding someone or a new customer. And once I select that template, I'm just going to say yes over all the content. It'll download the data, do a merge, and it'll actually even add any attachments that are a part of that email template. So this is really powerful in terms of the company's voice and ensuring a consistent message and a consistent experience. Not depending on someone's mood, whether they remember to put something in or not, and that's all controlled from within Sage CRM. And then our two options: you can prompt and send into the system, for example, it'll put up this prompt, or you can actually just send and file it, and it'll just send it and file it automatically into CRM. So emails being sent out are also then filed into CRM against this item. And I can, of course, if I want, I can decide, well, I want to attach a file directly from a record as well within CRM itself. So if the particular record has documents, you can actually grab those documents, maybe they're contracts, maybe something they've signed. You can grab those particular documents right from within Outlook itself and attach them. And as I mentioned, you can tag the email. So again, you can tag the email against any type of entity. It doesn't necessarily have to be an opportunity or a case. It can be any particular entity that you want to actually tag. Okay, so that pretty much kind of covers the product as we kind of mentioned. So really the benefits really are usability. CRM itself really does just feel like an extension of Outlook. They're not thinking about cutting and pasting, jumping from one to the system to the other, doing it because they have to. It's about making it easy for users to actually get that information into CRM. It speeds up the actual process itself, of course. And more importantly, then the relationship becomes the business. The business owns the relationship. It understands all the touch points. It has all the information there. I'm sure we've all had the experience of ringing a bank and saying, I spoke to your colleague yesterday, and they said, well, there's no record of it. It gets rid of all that. It's a much better experience, and there's much more visibility as to what's going on in your business. And of course, consistency in terms of, if you take your email templates, take a look at how you communicate with your customers, with your partners, with your affiliate channel, whatever it may be, that you can actually then design out exactly, this is how we communicate. These are the email templates to use, and here's the reason we use them. and they can still add in the personal touch, a salesperson, for example. But what it does is from a customer point of view, it just gives them confidence that they're getting that experience. Alrighty, so I'll just check if we any questions.
We do have some questions here.
Okay.
So the first question we have is, what's the main difference between Sage Outlook plugin and the CRM Together plugin? Aren't they both to file emails?
Well, the answer would be yes if it was only about filing emails. But what you can't do with the standard Outlook integration is view this particular this data on the right hand side over here, and you can't use email templates. It's fairly limited. You can save an email and then you can go into CRM, find that email if you can, and then maybe create an opportunity. But you can't convert an email into a company or a case, or even use it with custom entities.
How does Sage CRM share documents functions with SharePoint?
With SharePoint, I don't know that it does. I think you'd have to look at perhaps doing some integration to get the documents in here. So we would read from this particular data set, shall we say, and if you can perhaps synchronize the SharePoint folder into these as records in CRM, then you could do it that way. Yeah.
And the last question I have here is, what happens if I have duplicate companies in my CRM? How can I make sure I'm choosing the correct company when filing my emails?
Well, you have, of course, within the system here, it's really big on the email address. So what will happen is if someone sends in an email and that person doesn't exist, it'll actually search using the actual domain of the address, and it'll actually search on all the person records and all the company records to see is there already an email address or a company with that where someone has that email address, and if there is, it'll bring up that particular record. So the key here really is the email address. I'm forgetting tags for a minute. It's the email address. So the system will in fact check to see actually does this exist based on the email address itself. And you can, of course, search. So if you look at it for this example, Acme, if you don't have an email address, there is that risk. So the key really here is the email address.
Perfect. So it does look like that's all the questions we have for this session. So thank you, Mark, for presenting today. And we're going to take a quick 5-minute break and rejoin at 3:20 for the last session, Inside View on this track, or Sage CRM Tools for Business Process Automation on track 2.
Great. Thank you. Thanks, everyone. Thanks, BAASS.